And the Terran player, he's spawning to the top left of this last map in the best of 3. The Samsung Khan player.
Samsung Khan Reality.
Great game on map number 1. Struggled a little bit on the second map. Starting to the bottom right now, we have his opponent. The very early scout here. This is for LGIM.
LGIM KangHo.
Do you know what that pin is? Because I know he wanted Code A in 2011, but I didn't know we had pins for that.
I know what the pin is.
What?
GSTL.
Well,
I would say.
I guess maybe so, yeah. Yeah, I actually don't know.
I think it's a GSTL pin. What do you have?
Well, look at this. A Maka Barracks. I mean, it's been a long time since I mentioned that name, but the refinery going up here in the main base, he's just putting it very far forward.
We have a lot of scouting going on by KangHo, by the way. He really tried to find out if there is a proxy barracks. And he is gonna take his natural now. But he might be a bit weirded out seeing the gas in the main base and no barracks, because he might be afraid that he's up against an Atrax Reaper.
Yeah. You know, if he's really astute, he can see the gas timing here. See if how he reacts to this. He may see the barracks on the way back. He checks the main base, making sure it's not on the right side. And I think he'll probably check just the edge for a second here. But no, he does not. Oh, now at the last second he will see it.
There we go, and he sees it, and the Reaper is being built. But KangHo already got additional drones out before he started his pull, so he was like, yeah, well, you're trying to fake me out here. I scouted already all the proxy positions, and there was nothing, so you're not going to do anything like that.
He's just going to save this drone here in the main base, be annoying with it. And this also means that if he cancels and starts harassing, the Reaper might turn around, which would buy him some time. In reality, most likely not going to go for that, though. He's not going to fall for it.
Yeah, the Reaper is now being rallied out, but he can really take the gas. He doesn't have to cancel that. He can take the gas in the main base, and that's going to be up for a long, long time. And he doesn't select it. So, yep, there's the extractor. So he has to actually wait for Marines, because Reapers alone, they will take an eternity to take down the extractor.
Yeah. 2 Queens, instantly 6 Surleys. Not even going to do the traditional 4 here. He knows he's going to be dealing with a lot of Reaper pressure. Command center is started on the low ground, as KangHo expects. But here comes the first Reaper. He's going to have to make some Spore Crawlers, very likely here.
Yeah, he's losing. Oh, actually, he's not even losing it. Wow, he kills the Spore Crawler, but he didn't even have to, so job well done. The Reaper had to run away here and is still on the run. The Queen's, of course, now coming into play now.
Great micro here by KangHo. So much patience on his lings. He chases only when it's appropriate. It's like he knows when the Reaper's going to turn around at every time.
Reality got a little bit lucky that this Reaper didn't go down. That was very, very close. If that happens, that would take so much of his momentum away and of that early pressure that he wants to apply.
Yeah, more Overlords being added here, of course, as he's transitioning into getting these drones out of here.
Quick third CC at the 3-minute mark after the factory is about to be completed. And still the Reaper is trying to pressure KangHo a little bit. And so far we don't see any gas for the Zerg. He's just playing this on minerals. He's getting the extra Queens out there for the creep spread, of course, super important. But no gas whatsoever.
Wow, he's making cover a 4th Reaper. I don't even know if that's good. I mean, with the next few Hellions coming out, he may try to use his Reaper with the conjunction of the Hellions to try to kill a Queen or 2.
He could, yeah.
I think that must be his plan, because the Reaper obviously is going to be much more useful than a Marine trying to do something like that.
It's, by the way, something that KangHo should know now if he pays attention to the top left and has an occasional look at the extractor. He sees 3 of the Reapers already, and that's one of those things where you look at as a Zerg player and you're like, what? Wait?
He starts a
additional
spine.
ones? Yeah. The Spineman Crawler makes sense here in this situation.
That one spine is going to be enough to make it so that Reality can't snipe Queens, as long as KangHo doesn't botch his micro here.
The thing is that Reality really wanted that gas, and he was willing to give those information away to get that gas a little bit faster. Ideally for him, he would have, of course, just kept that Hellion away for as long as possible, and also the Reapers. But they can actually just cancel this hatch.
Yeah, we've seen this just a few times in the GSTL with Reapers and Hellions. Very annoying.
Usually don't see that. Oh,
No
wow!
cancel.
What?
Well, Zero with a huge oversight here. The Queens were defended by that Spine Crawler. Nice snipe on the Reaper.
Now, that was a really big issue. You know, I love the Roach Warren here. He could actually just go into Roach aggression, because with everything that has been built by Reality so far, he's very weak against Roaches.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, wow, really slippery Reapers here getting into the main base. The Hellions on the low ground are ready to support them if they needed to. Needs to be careful with his Reapers here, though. See, I don't know how much I like this. He had to run into the main base, but going into the mineral line was a bit overzealous. He loses everything here.
Yeah, the Reapers are now dead, but for me the big problem was really that missed cancel from KangHo at the third base. He was not pressured at this point. There was nothing that he had to do, and oh my god, is
9
Reality
roaches.
playing greedy at this point. Look at what Reality is doing here. Double engineering bay right away behind this, but he's getting now the Marauder and a double Widow Mine, so that's the defense that he has. His Hellions might be trapped here. Might lose one of those, not quite. But this is just going to be a Roach Baneling aggression.
Yeah, very standard here. Baneling's Nest going down, adding the 18 Zerglings. The Hellions, though, will buy him a lot of time. And he's even going to be able to pick off a few more links.
Really, those Hellions are not going to buy him any time at all. They can't engage those Roaches. He needs to get those bunkers up immediately.
Starts the bunkers immediately after seeing the Roaches.
The Hellion, the only thing that the Hellions do is see this, and that's important. The scouting information are crucial. But we have double engineering bay now with 1-1, and here come the Lings moving in for the Banelings. You know, if the bunkers finish, if he gets additional Marauders onto the map, he could stop this. And the problem for KangHo is, if this attack is being stopped, then he is behind in upgrades, and heavily at that.
Here come those Hellions. I was talking about coming in here, pick off a few of the Lings from back, and obviously KangHo's going to straight go for it, but every reinforcement he sends is taking some damage, and he has to keep the Roaches here because the Hellions otherwise are going to pick off his morphing Banelings.
Uh-oh, the Widow Mines are not broke. They go down. Oh my god, Reality with a big problem here. But he has 3-4 bunkers by now.
Yeah, 4 bunkers. The Roaches actually could have just run up the ramp, but they decide to stay.
The bunkers are enough, at least for now, but the question is, what can the Zerglings do that are running in? Those Hellions are keeping the Lings at bay. The Roaches are moving in, sniping them one by one. That might just be enough.
He is trying here. The SCVs come off for the repair. A few more Widow Mines on the ramp, and I feel like if
he needs to snipe those SCVs, and here comes the Widow Mine shot against the Banelings.
Perfect here. KangHo in a lot of trouble now. He did not get enough done. It's now 3 CCs, 48 SCVs to 38 drones.
That Baneling move, that was a mistake. He saw the Widow Mines, he was trying to snipe them, and then he didn't realize that the Banelings were rallied right across the Widow Mines. If those 3 Banelings hit the repairing SCVs, he gets a really good spot, but now KangHo is like, I mean, just look at the amount of harvesters that we have for both players. We have such a massive lead for Reality. He has a double command center. He has additional bunkers now coming up. This is bad news for KangHo.
Yeah. The upgrades, by the way, are 1-1 for him versus the evolution chambers are so late. And right now Reality is going, yeah, please run up the ramp with those Zerglings against this many bunkers. The Widow Mines I have as well. The Armory is also hitting here for Reality, so he can hit 2-2. I really feel like if KangHo had tried to go up the ramp with the Roaches, maybe he could have gotten some SCVs in the main base, but fighting against the bunkers was just nothing was gonna get done there.
Bunkers with Marauders, there was too much. I feel he thought he could break through there. And with a few better Baneling hits, I think he might have been able to pull that off. That looked pretty... like his unit control. The Hellions were allowed to go up against the Zerglings, and that's what you tried to avoid. What I would have loved to see actually is not the Roaches heading into the main base, but the Zerglings, just like maybe 6-7 going into the main, into the mineral line, and the rest of the Roaches, then the Lings and Banelings trying to just still fight at the natural, because they could have broken through, but then suddenly you have 2 focus points for Reality, and he might have slipped there.
Yeah, and you know, he didn't know that Reality, for example, doesn't have a tight wall at his ramp at the top.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely a good point.
He might have assumed that that wall had been tightened by then, which would be a pretty good assumption. Reality taking a massive supply lead now that his base is landed here. He's got the 2-2 on the way. Combat Shields is about to finish. He's just hitting all of his strides, and it's going to take some really good engagements, maybe some really good run-bys for KangHo to get back into this game.
It's 3 base versus 3 base now, and the position for Reality could not be better given his defense that he currently has set up here. His tech is superior to KangHo's, and once that his drop play starts, I am a bit afraid for the Zerg player here. I do not think that KangHo is in a position where he can safely get a 4th base. He's going to take that hatch, but this just allows Reality to drop at another spot.
Yeah, and the situation with the upgrades has just continued to become a problem. There's just so many Marines on the map. He's got the worker count is dead even, 70 to 70. That should never happen for a Zerg player at the 14-minute mark. You don't want to be even harvesters to your opponent.
Yeah, that also means that we have a 60 supply army advantage now for Reality, and he's using this army to walk across the map and potentially end the game.
Yeah, right now, he is plowing through KangHo's creep. Every scan, getting at least 5 or 6 tumors. He's starting to eliminate the left side. Another run by for KangHo. He's really good at making these happen, but there's already a defense set up. Killed every single Zergling this time, and KangHo now about 70 supply down against his opponent. In reality, doesn't look like he's going to stop his push anytime soon. He's going to have a 1 upgrade lead over his opponent as soon as 2-2 finishes, and he's hitting it right now as he moves across the map.
Yeah. There comes the trust, 2+2. He's going for additional barracks behind this. He's actually moving back.
Yeah, oddly enough. A lot of Widow Mines here, though, that I don't think KangHo expects to be there. He has an Overseer.
Given how aggressive Reality was in the last few games and how he was always trying to move in, I'm a little bit surprised by this choice. He's getting the rest of his reinforcements now. I would be very surprised if he doesn't go across the map and tries to take this.
It's almost like he's running a little bit scared after the run by his last game.
Max against the 120 supply Zerg player.
Now he's going in. Yeah, it looks like he thought there was a big run by coming or something. Maybe a scan let him believe that. These Banelings here do not want to be here.
Yeah, neither do the Zerglings or any other Zerg unit on this map. They all don't want to be here. They want to be in a different game. They want to be in game 2.
I don't think an Ultralist would want to be here right now. He gets a good surround on the Marines. There's not a lot of places to run. In reality, with a very late pickup here, he only has 2 medevacs.
That was
the best he could have hoped for.
Good. That was great Baneling hits that we saw there by KangHo.
Yeah, that was a little bit weird by Reality. He got himself trapped. He's still ahead in this game because for him that was an even-ish trade, and he has the better economy, and he's now going to kill his base.
That was a very surprising thing that we had happened there, given how well Reality just picked up his units in the games that we saw before this. But he still has this massive supply, and he's now on 2-2 going into 3-3. And we have, of course, the drops that we talked about earlier, and the main bulk of the army is trying to take control of the ramp.
There's no Banelings. He only has 1 Baneling on the map, 8 more morphing. That's not Lucera I know. And this is just a rough spot for him because he can't defend everywhere at once with his army. It's just too small. And Reality, his macro is so good. He's got a bank. He's going to start 3-3. He's actually already started it.
50 supply lead once again for the Terran player and the better bank at this point. He's also getting his 4th base. Marines are walking over towards the 4th base, but we have a big battle at the bottom left. Here comes the army of KangHo moving into the Widow minefield. A lot of those boys being taken out. And the Mutalists, can they fight this? Not really. Too many Marines, and the 4th is also dying.
Yeah, 4th is gone here. This puts KangHo back down to 3 bases. The Marines that you talked about before here, taking out the last of those Banelings that are morphing, and the Marines, they're just going to be able to push through the Mutants. He also has the Widow Mine support.
Only 20 Zerglings, not enough to stop this army. Reality takes it. GG. With a 2-1, he advances to the Premier League, and KangHo once more in the up and downs.
Yep, he will be in the up and downs. A big favorite going into the up and downs, I would say, but that was a rough match, and like you said, Reality's Terran versus Zerg is impeccable, and that's what gave Lucera a problem, because for him, he's not having the best time of the past few times he's played the matchup.
With 10 maps played against Zerg, Reality now has an 80% win ratio. Took 8 of those matches, only lost 2 of the maps. So really good job here by Reality. A bit shaky against those run-bys in game number 2, but then in game number 3 he defended very, very well, did damage at the beginning. And that missed cancel on the 3rd base.
That hurt him a lot.
So much money that you lose at this point in time. That was a big problem for Lucera.
Exactly, and nothing really lost there for Reality at that moment in time. Coming up next, though, we are going to have potentially our most exciting maps of the night, SOS versus Curious.
That's going to happen in just a few minutes, so guys, stay tuned, and then we'll be back with the WCS Challenger League here in Korea with our Protoss versus Zerg of the day. See you guys in a few.